when they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, you're listening live to 105.3 or 107.7 out of New Orleans, Louisiana, to United Public Radio Network, also known as UFO Paranormal Radio Network, or just UPRN, to the thing at the foot of the bed. I am one of your co-hosts, Lorilei Potvin. My amazing co-host, David Hanzel. I will hand over in just a sec. I get a few housekeeping things out of the way. If you've never been here before, welcome. I'm going to I don't have a script. It just comes out of my mind here. And thanks for being patient. As Dave said, who knows, could be ghosts, could be haunted, but we had a few technical issues, but thankfully they're solved. Anyways, if you want to join in the conversation and you want to watch the show, which I strongly encourage, head over to UFO Paranormal Radio, either on Facebook or YouTube. You can go to David's channel on YouTube, The Spirit Experience, or he also has a Facebook book group with that name that he's streaming to. You can go to my profile, which is Lorilei Potvin. It's public. I have a YouTube channel, which is The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. And there's a couple other places too. Canada's Most Haunted. There's a bunch of places on Facebook we're streaming. Anyways, we are also coming to you on the TV channel that we have on Roku under UFO Paranormal Radio. So if you want to find it, you sign into your Roku account. You're going to go to the channel store. You're going to look up UFO space P as in paranormal. You get a drop-down list, but you're looking, it's the third or fourth one down. It's UFO space paranormal and United Public Radio. Now, if you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. This network's been around for 25 years. And when we're not streaming, we have multiple shows day and night, and new hosts always joining the network, as well as some of us oldie moldies like myself. There's some great programming here, and when we're not streaming live, the archive server is going, so there's always something to listen to. And I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Lorilei Potvin. I am a host here on the network of my own show on Monday nights called The Angel Rock from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm a Canadian clairvoyant medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, and registered nurse. Lastly, if you are on Facebook and you'd like us to know who you are other than Facebook user, please head over to streamyard.com/Facebook and get them permission to use your name and your picture, or just put your name behind, and we will let you know if you come up as Facebook user. We'll highlight it at the bottom of the screen, just so we know. And if you want to stay anonymous, that's okay too. I think I remembered everything, Dave. Hi to everybody that's here.
I think you did say everything. You got it all. Hi, my name is David Hanzel. I am a maintenance worker. I'm kidding. I'm a spiritual medium and clairvoyant, energy healer, channel, whatever. I'm everything, just like Lorilei, except I don't live in Canada. Hi to everybody. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Brooke. Brooke is Shantu's tarot.
Oh, okay. Hi, Brooke. She said that. Hi, Lorilei. I'm Brooke. Welcome, Brooke.
She's from TikTok, and I have met her on TikTok. She's a very wonderful person, very talented reader.
Hi, TikToker. We like TikTokers here. We're trying to bring TikTokers over to the network. So
yeah, I had the 94,000 TikTokers, and that's gone. Although, you guys,
you're getting it, Dave. I told you it's going to come back real quick.
I want to tell everybody though something. That's watching or watches in the future, and this is a spiritual thing, but I got to tell you, because it freaking works. So about a week and a half ago or so, I had gotten my TikTok account stolen. My fault. So, but
not really, David. Not really.
Well, I shouldn't have fell for that crap. I know myself better, and I got every warning in the world, but yeah. But anyway, what happened was, I was hell bent, just being angry about it, wanting it, trying to get it back. I was thinking about getting it back and all these other things. And then one day I was sitting there, I just was talking back and forth with Lorilei on here. And that night, actually, it was before I had said, forget it, just start the new TikTok. And so I did start a new TikTok, and then I was mad again. And then not last night, but the night before, I was sitting in my room and I just said, you know what? I'm done. I'm releasing all this. I'm not going to be angry anymore. I'm just going to go forward. I'm just done. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going forward. Thanks for the lesson. I got it. Let's move on. The very next day, yesterday, when I posted that one video, it went viral right after that. So it went viral and it's got over 30 something thousand K.
Yay!
It took me up from 28 people now to now I think I've got almost 650 followers, which I don't care. I don't do this for the follow, but I like the 1,000 because I like to go live and I like to help people. So
because we usually do go live, but I was thinking, Dave and I get so busy, we don't always get a chance to talk. We send crazy kitty memes and funny memes and stuff and spooky stuff back and forth. But you know what I was thinking, Dave, if we can swing it, we should try and go live on some different platforms and get those numbers up for you. Because I told you that. Remember what I said to you? I said, people are going to be looking for you with the type of TikTok that you have.
Yeah, and it went someplace. And actually the video, I always tell people, people always ask me how I decide what question to take. And literally, it's like any live I do. When the person comes across, it's like time stands still. They stop me, I stare at it, and I can't stop staring at it. And they're like, "This is the one." And they did that. My first TikTok that I had, I went through the same thing. I started it; it was going really slow, and then a question that I'm just like, I'm not touching that question. I am not saying that on TikTok. And it would not go away. It lit up every time I saw it. And probably about 3-4 days after I got the question, I said, screw it. I'm gonna do the answer. And there's 2 questions. So I did the first one, and that one went viral. And from that, and then 2 days later, I was looking at the other question, and my guys had said, "So you're gonna answer that one too?" And I'm like, no, I took a chance with the first one. I'm not doing it. And then, like I said, you get that insatiable something. You've got to do it. So I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I did it again. That video went viral 3 days afterwards. So you guys, if you're ever having a bad time and you're like sad and angry, ask your feelings. I mean, literally ask your feelings. All right, why are you here? Because you can't feel a feeling unless you give it permission. You've got to react to something. So, and then it depends on how you're going to feel it. And I was having crappy feelings. I just, I'm like, you know what? Why is this happening? I'm not going to do this no more and just move on. It works for literally anybody. You have to let things go sometimes, and you have to just move on when something bad happens.
Yeah, but you know what, Dave? I was thinking about this. First of all, I highlighted, we got a Facebook user that said awesome. So you could stay anonymous or just put your name underneath, or I've streamed it across the bottom. If you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, give permission to use your name and photo. That's great. I know some people have already done it and this still happens to them. So whatever you choose, but we said we would highlight you. I'm going to answer Brooke's question in just a sec. But what I wanted to add, Dave, is I believe in you. Okay. I believe in you. And you know that I am going. What's my name on TikTok? It is the Angel Rock, or I think is it Lorilei? I think it's the Angel Rock, isn't it, Dave, on TikTok?
Type in the Angel Rock and you'll see it.
Yeah, you'll see it.
I
remember your name. Lori Yanni. Hi, Dave and Lorilei. Glad I caught you. We're glad we caught you too. So what I want to add to this story, Dave, is I believe in you. And, when it comes to the law of attraction, we're not getting real spiritual. I might as well, I want to say Chanteuse. Brooke, we don't do readings on this show. And Dave and I go live usually the day before or the day of the show. We do go live to promote the show. We do readings. We do a little bit of chit chat. We talk about all things spooky here. And the audience is a huge part of our show because we wouldn't have a show without you. Back to Dave.
Brooke knows some spooky.
I believe in you. And I said to you that with that many people following you, they're going to be looking for you. So I remember my advice to you that night when you shared this. I said I would use a different picture. You did. You've changed your name a little bit because people are cloning you. There's like 20 or 30 accounts with your old picture and name.
I have to. If anybody's listening and watching, it's no longer Medium David Hanzel. If you see an account that says Medium David Hanzel with the black and white picture, that's not me. My picture is, I got a new picture on there, and it's now called The Spirit Experience with David Hanzel Medium.
Yes. So that's what I was going to say. And I said that to you. And we were chit chatting yesterday about this viral video. And I kept going, ride the wave, Dave, ride the wave. And
I
then
didn't make one till today. Yeah.
What's that?
I didn't make one till today, but I've deleted the one I made today.
Oh, did you?
You know, I'm going to tell you guys why. So the video that went viral, I had, out of all those people who watched it, and it was about, can people see you from heaven? And, you know, and then I explained that whole thing. And I, you know, I always tell people, I'm not speaking from reading it in a book or listening to someone else. It's literally from experience. So, but anyway, there are so many nice comments in there, but there was a couple bad ones. And the video, Lorilei, it's still on my Facebook. It's still on my Facebook, that video, but I deleted it from TikTok. But a lady asked me, she writes out of all these beautiful comments about this beautiful thing, and people were so happy to hear that they can connect with people and that they're there and all these other things, which is what I tried to get through to people. She said, Jesus sent me to give you a message. Find him. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is, you know, these religious people who say stuff like that. One, dude, I had told her, I said, are you being possessed right now by Jesus? I mean, how do you know this? Are you channeling Jesus? And I told her what to ask Jesus at this point. When I went through the whole thing, it got about 500 views on it. But then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to be the bigger person. And I'm going to remove it from TikTok and let this lady be. But I did not remove it from my Facebook or Instagram, so you can see it there. But I removed it from TikTok. And I know I quoted her what it said too about what her book says about judging people and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I put that whole quote in there and everything. I think she saw it. And once she saw it, that's what I thought, I'm going to delete it now. And then I blocked her. So that's just how it goes. You know, sometimes me and Lorilei were talking, you know, what we talk about spooky tonight. And there's a lot of spooky stuff out there. But you know what's, for all the people who are afraid of the paranormal or afraid of haunted houses or haunted items and all that, nothing can match or beat the terror that comes from real people. I mean,
I have a story and been waiting to tell it. So you go ahead and I'm going to tell it.
No, that's all I was going to say. You know, people are more terrifying than I have never had. Well, you've had some kind of scary experiences with ghosts and stuff, but me personally, I've had a few scary things, but I tell you, it is nothing like the scariness of connecting with a real human being with a bad attitude or negativity. I think that's worse than any ghost or demon ever could be, because I always see what people do here. But I don't want to cut down on humanity. Humanity's awesome, and there's a few bad ones. And I think,
but we have to think about energy. And Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, 100%. She says, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, you guys want to tune into her show tomorrow. Have we got another echo again? Darn it. We got Ghosts in the Machine tonight, guys. Let's hope it settles down. Carrie Lynn has a Spirit Switchboard from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. She is amazing. She talks all kinds of spooky and ghosties. She's got an amazing group on Facebook. She helps you sort of learn more about your own gifts and how to tune into them and things like that. So you want to check her out. She goes, people are it won't highlight for me. Hang on. I got to use the new computer, folks. New computer. Brooke, just so you know, Chanteuse Tarot, I just sent you a message on TikTok and I followed you. So you should be able to find me. People, yes, many of us in the paranormal world and stuff that do this always say people are scarier. And I am going to share this story. David knows a little bit about it, but I've been wanting to share it. Now, I'm not trying to be vindictive because I believe that what we put out is what we get back, including what we need to realize is when people are nasty and mean, Most of the time, I would say 99.999% of the time, it says more about them, and it never had anything to do with us. We either were in the wrong place at the wrong time, the receiving end. For example, everybody that knows me knows I do resin. I had 2 subscriptions, okay? And they come monthly. And one of them is in the United States, and it was beginning of August, and July's box had not come, and they charge you a month in advance. And so I wrote the usual who I thought was owner, and I didn't receive a response. And she's usually pretty quick. And then I wait about a week and I think, have I got the email wrong or something? So I go to the website. There's a new name on the website. Nothing has changed except the names, and I will not say the name. Long story short, I write them and I say, hey, like, what's going on here? Why is your name here? Has the business been sold? Any idea on when the box in July is coming? We're now almost into the middle of August. And this lady proceeds to tell me that the business has been sold. She has had it since the end of May, has not told a soul anything about this. And so I released this email. There was nothing personal in there. There was nothing vindictive. It was something that she should have told us as customers. I then write her back and say, I'm very disappointed. Like, I wish you would have introduced yourself. I don't think any of us would have had a problem with you taking over a business and trying to get used to things. And, I'm almost thinking of unsubscribing, but I still kind of want to hear what your plans are. Are you putting out a Halloween box? Like, what's your plans for it? And she wrote me back kind of a sarcastic, snarky letter. Okay. But before I got this second response, I get a message telling me my subscription has been canceled. Then I am blocked from every page, all over the place. Okay. I was angry because I didn't do anything wrong. You went back to my email and I said, did I somehow misconstrue my message that I was unsubscribing? I didn't. I don't even know if I'm going to get what I paid for because she's blocked me from everything. I haven't done anything wrong. I guess what happened when we think about it, we connect with spirit. I think she was angry because she was forced to step up and introduce herself and say she took over the business. And I don't mean to, I'm not trying to sound egotistical, but I know someone in the resin community on Instagram that knows everybody, and I just let her know.
Did you pay PayPal?
No, through my bank account.
Oh, okay. Well, you can cancel it to the bank account
for years. And the reason why I've always liked it, the girl that had the business had a 3D printer, and she made a lot of miniature pieces and stuff. And you can make scenery, like really super cool molds, like you couldn't get anywhere else. Long story short, when she did all this and she blocked me, this new owner, I didn't tell my friend on Instagram. I thought, I'm not here to stir the pot. And my friend on Instagram wrote the nicest message. She just said, hey, y'all, this business we all subscribe to has a new owner. So let's go easy on her, taking over. She was so sweet about it. And then afterwards, I guess she found out all this stuff. I didn't tell anybody. I guess I'm not the only one it happened to. And it's going to take care of itself is what I'm saying. So a lot of people are scary. I could have got really angry about this. I was a little disappointed, but then I had to tell myself, even though it sounds cliche, everything happens for a reason. And yes, people are scarier than the paranormal many times.
Even, just for a ghosty story, that has something to, that's awful too, that those people do that. Well, I always tell people, you know what, everybody gets the life they deserve for what they do. So,
well, that's what I'm trying to say though. I think this says more about her than it did about me. Like, I'm thinking, why was I guess I was the one that was meant to notice that there was a new name on the site and what have you. It played out as it should. But because you're going to put that kind of energy out, she didn't tell anybody that she doesn't even have the August box that I paid for. I paid for September too.
She's going to be one of those people that if she's ever a ghost, she's going to be like a Karen ghost.
Well, the thing is, I thought, like, okay, let's give her some grace. Maybe she's a new business owner. Oh, no, she put out her announcement who she was because she was forced to. Her and her husband own a couple businesses and all kinds. I thought, okay, if that's how you treat your customers. But my main thing is what you put out comes back to you. And we weren't planning to get all spiritual tonight, but I think it's a good thing to talk about because we said we were going to talk about this last week, Dave. we can get angry about it. There's a lesson in it, but so many people, we could get a million great comments and we get one really nasty one, and we all do it, myself included. We really perseverate on the comment that's mean and nasty, right? It hurts, it cuts us to our core instead of recognizing all the beautiful comments, right? And I think it's just human nature.
I just want to, from now on, when I get a negative comment, I just want to put reply, bummer.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I would love to write smart ass comments.
I scroll through TikTok and I see a lot of, and being in the spiritual realm, in the spiritual world with people, spiritual people. Some of the spiritual people can be really cutthroat. Not a lot of them though. You'd be surprised. Not a lot, but there are some that. I mean, if you say one thing, I've had them come on my page and go, "That's the wrong information," and I said, "Why?" And like, I'm a medium and I do it like this. And I'm like, well, okay, well, that's because that's how you do it. And that's okay. But I've had a few people like that here and there. I try not to say much. Everybody does stuff here and there.
We all get that. And I am even finding that the term spirituality, and I always say it's not my job to judge, but I am seeing it, where the word spirituality is being inserted instead of the same thing as religion. I'm not bashing religion. What I'm saying is there's a lot of religious dogma that can be out there. There's a lot of fear-based stuff. And I think that we forget that when we're working in this field, we're human, yes. But, it just go back to the golden rule. Sandra says, I can totally see Dave saying, bummer, dude. Yeah, I can too. But where I'm going with this is, we got to remember that, the golden rule, we treat others the way we want to be treated. And I was watching this video the other day, and it really hit home with me, where they were saying, because we are all one, we're nasty to someone else, we're really just doing it to ourselves. And I went, holy God, right.
I was wondering is, let's play with this for a minute. For all you guys who are into ghosts, or not, I'm not talking about ghosts in general, not goats.
I love goats.
Goat is the meh. Yeah. No, ghosts in general. You wonder, like when you see the paranormal teams, like everybody knows this by now who watches the show. Me and Lorilei get uber upset when we see paranormal people screaming at ghosts and just being terrible.
Oh, that makes my blood boil.
But you wonder, I don't know, because I mean, I've talked to some ghosts, but not every one of them. But I always want to ask them, are you being mean back because they were mean to you first? Is that and you playing the game? Because you wonder if they are, because like I said, that one place that I went to and everybody had this horrible story about this woman who hung herself in her cell. And that person told me the whole thing, which was the fact that she was put in there because back in her day, she was going through the change and her husband put her in an insane asylum because that's what they did back then. And she literally went crazy in the insane asylum.
Back and haunt him.
Yeah, she was not. And she wasn't haunting anybody there. She was like, no. Just basically, it was almost like, which actually that brought me to think about a lot of stuff, because there was two spirits in that place who said almost the same thing. They were there because they wanted to be there, and they were in two places at once. So they were literally visiting this place and they were helping out with somebody else's experience, I guess you could say. Because let's face it, if you put ghosts and stuff like that into your world and you bring it into your world, you have a better chance of observing something than if you are just a non-believer. If you're a non-believer, it's gonna, oh my gosh, I don't even know what they would have to do to get you to turn your head, And I think the more that we, and even in Beetlejuice, it says people don't see ghosts because they can't see the strange and unusual. And then when the little girl says, but I myself am strange and unusual, so she can see them. And I think that's kind of my thing with spirits and stuff.
That's my Halloween t-shirt I picked up tonight.
Huh?
My Halloween t-shirt I picked up tonight, Michael Myers.
Look at mine. It just says breaking news. No one cares.
Oh, I love it. I have to to tell you though. Okay, now the third week of this, the third episode, the fourth is out tonight. I've talked about it. This Alone series put by Omar Gosh TV on YouTube.
Yeah.
It has some of I've noticed the first episode had sort of the bigger YouTubers. It had my boy, Josh Foreman. It had Colin Browen from the Paranormal Files. It had Ryan, I don't know what I forget his last name, from Twin Paranormal, Pete Monzingo. I did see this Chris Starr, who I'd never heard of before. Now, she's interesting. She's on TikTok quite a bit. She's a medium. She owns crystals. She looks kind of a little bit like a rocker dude. Super pretty. You can tell she's probably a model. Owns a crystal store. Her friend, is that Kelsey? I forget. Kelty, I think her name is. She's not a paranormal person, so she's pretty spooked. And then Sean Foreman. I love the Foreman brothers. I talk about them all the time. And I will tell you, they had quite a case last Friday. It even spooked them. Like, I have not heard a growl so loud on camera while they were investigating this couple. And it was kind of a sad story. And the reason why I love I know you know Dave and anybody that watches the show, but anybody that's listening that's new. Okay, Brooke, thanks for being here. She said, I got to hop off. So glad to have connected with you, Lorilei. Hugs to you, David. Thanks for popping in. Tell people about us and come on back. We'd love to have you back. Hi, Howie. I didn't even see you. Hi, Howie. Howie's got the Rift Network. He's got the Orion Effect. David and I have been on there before. And so be sure to check him out. Anyways, back to the show. The reason why I like the Foreman brothers, and it's called Paranormal Nightmare TV series. Somebody told us that it's on, I think, Nat Geo or something on TV, but they put it on YouTube too. They help people with residential issues. And this couple had just lost their daughter. It sounded like the doctor told them the daughter wouldn't even make it home after she was born. And she lived 15 years. I guess she had a seizure and she'd passed away. And I guess they decided to move to get into new surroundings. You know, it's just so difficult when you've got a loved one to see everything that was there. Fresh surroundings sometimes help. And this home they moved into, I don't know what the heck was there, because I will tell y'all, there are a lot of spirits out there pretending to be demonic, because I do not believe this spirit was demonic. But I will tell you, the growl that they heard, and that was with no ghost box, nothing. They all jumped. It was loud. And then I watched the Paranormal Files with Colin Brown. They went to some prison. I forget what the name of it is. Obviously, it would be, I think it was in Maryland. I could be wrong. Holy cow, David, the activity in there, it was just insane. The stuff that happened in there, insane.
I would love to go to, I still want to go investigate someplace. Just
Let me
like
find out the name for you.
people who just jot down everything they're getting as you go and compare it at the end of the night. But I haven't been on an investigation in so long. And when I have gone on some investigations, it's either with people who are too, I don't know, I don't know what the word is for it, but it's always end up, I get so bored because they don't want to try anything new. And
no, we have to go on an investigation together. Now, I live in Canada, you live in the US, but one of these days I think we should connect and go, because I think we'd have a lot of fun together, and let's see what we get.
there's a haunted hotel place in up by the Wisconsin Dells up over
I've
there.
been to Wisconsin Dells before.
Yeah, there's one up right around there.
Okay, all he's got here is the most haunted prison in America, Old Montana State. It's called the Diablo's Pen. I am telling you, there was crazy stuff. This is Colin Browen. He released this. I think he released it a day late. 2 days late. He usually releases it on Monday. Released it on Wednesday. But Colin, I don't know how this kid does this. He's married. He's got pretty severe diabetes. He investigates with his dad. Everybody calls him Papa Spooks. He used to be, I think, an ophthalmologist, some kind of eye doctor. And his mom sometimes, and his wife or his brother-in-law, his wife's brother. He went with his dad to this place. But every week, this guy puts out a complete documentary, anywhere from an hour and a half to usually 3 hours a week. And he does all the work himself. I don't know how he does it.
Holy cow.
Like, can you imagine? And he puts in like all the perfect sound effects and the B-roll, and it's really he could upload all of his documentaries, I swear, to a TV channel, and you would never know the difference. Like, it's so well done.
I tried. Nicole says, I want to go on an
I
investigation.
just saw it.
Yeah, I know. Nicole doesn't live far from me, and there's a couple of us around here that would go on investigations. The problem that I had in my town, so if you're listening to this in some way, shape, or form at some point, and you live in the North Carolina area, please contact me. Just go to my website, theywhispertome.com, and contact me. Because a while back, I had called a few places. There's supposed to be this real haunted Irish pub in Charlotte. And so I had called them up and I said, okay, yeah. So I was talking to them. I'm like, I hear that your pub's haunted and all that. And they were telling me all the stories. And I said, are you open for investigations at all? And they said, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, I'm a medium and I wanted to look around. Oh, no, we can't have anybody in here like that. And then so either they're lying about everything
or they're worried you're going to relieve them of their ghost.
And then I tried. We have some buildings in our downtown area of Gastonia where I live. And I asked a few people if I could, I tried to call and see if I could go investigate those, and nobody will let you, but yet they'll tell you they're haunted, but they won't let you investigate it. I'm like, well, what's up, people? What's your big deal? So I have tried in this town before. I can't know where I did go, Nicole Thomas Rhine. In Dallas, where I used to live, Dallas, North Carolina, just right up the road from him, they have this little park, and they have these. It's on one of my. It's actually I used it in one of my early YouTube videos where I talk about ghosts. That's so weird. It's coming full circle, but it's this little like old village town with an old church in it and all that. And I took B-roll footage of that, and I put together a whole video of that talking about ghosts. So, but I love doing investigations like that. I love cemeteries. I love everything. Although in cemeteries, I don't know, Lorilei, do you get much? When I just go to a normal cemetery, like to visit my grandparents or something like that, I rarely see anybody in there. I don't
know. But and you've said this before, Dave, and I agree with you. Like, it's not like spirits are just hanging out at the cemetery.
Yeah, but I've always wondered, so many people, I see paranormal investigations when they're going live and they go through well, I suppose they go at night and they have the intention to find something. And of course, it could be too when I go to a graveyard, I don't have an intention to find anything. So it might just be going right over my head.
But I do look, because we've had family funerals and stuff at various burial places over the last couple of years. And I kind of look around and kind of have a listen. And at least I'm not tuning into anything or seeing anything. But I do have to tell you, this reminded me, and I forget where I saw it. This, I think it might have been on Nuke's Top 5. And this guy was in, I believe, Wisconsin, and he went to a really old haunted cemetery. Is that Carmel?
No, that's Pom Pom. He's
big.
Pom
Pom. We haven't got our regular co-host, Angel, here.
No, Angel. Pom Pom. Well, come here, sweetie. When you come up,
well, this guy went to this cemetery and he was filming it, and he was so sweet to the people there. He was a paranormal investigator, but the people that were buried there, and he was expressing concern about some of the headstones that they were starting to crumble and they were dirty, and he was sort of brushing it off. And then he noticed 2 headstones a little bit apart from each other, that they were little girls, 7 and 9. So he talked to them like they were real people, and he was snapping pictures and what have you. And there was a fence around their headstones. Now, he knew who these children were. I think it was quite a well-known, prominent family back in the early 1900s. And he said, if you're here, can you give me a sign? And somebody, like you can see this on the video, something shaking the fence. And he gets really startled. And then he says, thank you. And you hear a couple little girls giggle, like without a ghost box or anything. And then he says, if it's okay with you, I'd really like to take your pictures. I bet you little girls are just beautiful. And so he starts snapping, 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 snapping. Hi, Silent Diva. They said, hey, Lorilei. Hey, David. Great to see y'all. Great to see you. And all the pictures, there was nothing except one. It is the most incredible picture I've ever seen. Outside the chain link, it was like a little chicken wire, almost type fence. There's a little girl. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps telling you. I got major goosebumps coming up. And another one a little bit bigger. They look like they would be 7 and 9. And he asked them to smile for the camera. And you can see them. And you know that they're spirits because you can see through them. It was the most incredible thing. And I just loved the way he treated these little girls in spirit with such respect, and how sad he was about their headstones. And it was a really cool picture and story.
That's how I'd say I mean, there should be more ghosts out there with good pictures like that. Everybody always got, we got to capture this demon. Why?
Yeah, why?
Why?
And
Why
this is the problem. Okay. And I always say this with human beings, and I'm going to get to some of these comments, is that, you get people that get very arrogant that'll say, well, I've gone into a place and nothing's ever happened to me. Well, good for you. Maybe you weren't meant to have that experience, or what have you. Or you get people going in there that are very arrogant and, provoking and what have you, right? And they always want these demons, or I'll go in there, I'll kick that ass of that demon. You have no idea what you were dealing with. But I always say something like that has been around since the beginning of time. Whether you believe in demons or not, we'll call it evil energy. Okay. There is no time and space on the other side. And when you're dealing with something like that and there's oppression, it doesn't listen to you. It goes after things like your health, or you got kids, or you got pets, anything that can cause misery and sadness. This is why I always just shake my head at people that just don't get it. Like, you're just one tiny little human being, and there's no rule on the other side that says, especially something lower vibrational, very negative, aggressive, and angry, has to listen to you.
when you put stuff like out there, like I tell people, everything you see in front of you, including ghost demons and everything, we've agreed to see that if that comes up. So that's why we see it. And that's why some people see it. So if this person is agreeing and giving permission and being a jerk, he's going to get exactly what he's putting out there.
Mm-hmm.
Plus there's the respect issue, and then there's the stupid issue. And I think it's because people still don't take it seriously that there are ghosts. And I'll tell you, one, I know for absolutely sure that nobody dies. That one I know absolutely for sure.
I agree 100%. I don't have millions of dollars, but I would bet $1 million with anybody that does not believe that we go on forever. I will bet you it, because I'm never going to have to pay that bill, because I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt. Yes, we go on forever.
But the ghosts are also part of the experience here. I forgot where I was going with.
Yeah, but you know what? Remember when we talked about this, Dave? I don't know if it was on air or off air. We were wondering, I think it was off air. We were talking one time, and we said, I wonder if we contract, like when we come into this lifetime, that we're going to be earthbound to experience it from the spirit side without crossing over. What do y'all think out there?
Yeah, I kind of think, me personally, I think that it has to be something contracted into your experience, or something because I will say this, in your lifetime, this one I do know, you have potential threats and dangers, and you have potential windfalls of wonderfulness. There's certain situations you're going to be put in that one of those things could happen. So I'm wondering if if you came here and they said, potentially, dude, if you have a really bad life and you take on this thing and listen to all those people, and that's your belief system when you go, you could end up, not realizing you can come all the way over and you'll be that ghost thing. And most spirits, I know what we're going to say. Oh, okay, whatever, I'll handle it. And
yeah, exactly. When we're in our true form, in the soul form, yeah, no problem.
it's really easy to say that's not a problem when you have ego. And then for some ghosts, this is one thing I do know about time, the structure of time, which is literally everything literally is happening at the same time. And we are having simultaneous lives at the same time. All of our past lives are not in the past. They're actually happening now.
Nor are our future lives either.
Yeah. Or so it's your future lives. And it's not really reincarnation, it's just incarnation. You can literally step into any time period with you. The thing is, people go, how can that be? We'd go nuts. And it's because we are only focusing on one at a time. And that's why you can do it, because we're focusing on this life right here. Now, if Lorilei was to do like a past life reading, or I did a past life type of reading, we would basically, what we are doing is stepping into the you that's happening and now. And that's why we'd be able to see those things pretty much just like we would be talking to one of your spirit family members. Although I don't do a lot of past life readings because for me, they're kind of fuzzy. They, I can tell people, I hear certain things, I get certain things, but it's not as clear as like people or my spirit guides. It's always, there's some kind of, it's almost like they place a covering over it going, you can't give them too much of this information because it's going to possibly.
I do quite a bit. Like the first night I met Seraphine, my previous co-host, we had 15 seconds to meet each other in my previous network. There was a scheduling snafu, and thank goodness, because I did a show Monday through Friday. First time podcasting the way on a network. I used to do one on with iPhones and stuff years ago. But we had 15 seconds to meet each other, and her show was running into my show. So what ended up happening, she said, do you want to join me? And she had like a female all paranormal discussion group, and it wasn't just only girls, it was like whoever was around and wanted to join in the conversation. And that night, and I didn't know Seraphine, I didn't know anything about her, I gave her quite a bit about her past life, one of them. But the reason why it came up, because there was a cowboy that kept showing up in her paranormal investigations, and it was in St. Augustine at the time. And it was like I literally was watching a movie. Like I could literally see what was going on, who she was, what her role was, why this guy was there. And it's, some people, I get it like a movie, and other people, just like you said, Dave, it's kind of just like a veil. So I think if you're meant to know it at the time, because spirit meets us where we are. Would you agree with that, right? Like they're not going to give us something that we're not ready for or anything like that.
And was with time and all that too, you can choose on the other side to that's what I'm looking for. You can choose to know time on the other side at times. You can, and I know that the reason I found out about that, and it wasn't until I heard a couple other people saying after this is, I had readings with spirit, and I had asked the spirit one time, how do you know when to leave me? Because when the time's over, I'm not, you know what I mean? They start fading back. They're like, because we're on your time. I'm like, oh
yeah, I don't think we forget time.
No, if they're
know what it is.
Yeah, if I'm picking something up or there's somebody standing here giving me something, they're literally experiencing my time with me. And that's how they know. Like I don't even have to really look at my clock or set an alarm for my readings, because they just start to fade out. And when they fade out, that's when I usually look at the clock and like, oh, I've got like 3 minutes. And I was like, okay, I gotcha. So they do. Nicole Thomas, I did several past life regression meditations and got several different experiences. That's like hundreds of thousands of different people.
I've had them done. My friend that's going, I'm having two, one of them you may know the other one, but the one I'm having Leanne Clark, who has been on the Angel Rock before numerous times. You know Leanne from the Voldemort place we used to be that shall remain unnamed, and Debbie A. Anderson. And they're coming on. We're going to be playing some solfeggio tones that Debbie channeled and they were composed. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. But anyways, Debbie's husband, who used to be a police officer, believe it or not, they're Canadian. She was originally from the UK. They now live in Mexico. So go figure. They're world travelers. Anyways, her husband, Chris, does past life regressions. He does future lives too. And I've had a couple sessions with him, and I still kind of remember some of the, like, when you're doing this session with him, you know exactly what's going on. Like, it's just that the information that comes through kind of fades. But I remember some of the past lives that came through as well, because you're right, we have had hundreds of thousands of past lives. The reason why I'm a little fuzzy is I did a different type of session with him the last time I did. We kind of went into the future a little bit to get some information, to see the various timelines and sort of see what was coming, and a little bit of history and stuff. So it was pretty cool, actually.
Do you want to hear something really freaky? Do you want to go down a really freaky rabbit hole?
Yes.
So, I don't know if you guys know who Bashar is. I like listening to Bashar.
I know who Bashar is, yeah.
I like Bashar because it's literally no nonsense. He doesn't pretend to be like a medium or anything like that. But if
I like
you know,
Bashar.
yeah, if you know some of the story about Bashar, Bashar was talking about, I was listening to it one day. He was talking about Bashar and how the name came about. That's actually,
we should say who channels them, though. It's Daryl Anka. Just so you know.
Who I just love Daryl. I like Daryl even if somebody's just interviewing Daryl Anka.
Yeah, I like Daryl too.
Bashar was talking about that's not actually the name of the person coming through. That's just the name that ended up there. Bashar is an East Indian term that means something, which had to do with the channel, which I understand that because
I do too.
I have a guide who did that to me too, named Sedum. So, which means autumn joy, and that's what a sedum is, and he came to me in the autumn. But I thought about this one time when he was talking about Bashar is actually his future self.
Interesting. I hadn't heard that one yet. That's interesting.
Bashar is actually his future self who is connecting. Well, I mean, they're not, as they go through their normal lives, they're not aware of each other, but they're the future self. Because like we said, everything happens at the same time. And I know this might freak people out to hear this, but I thought about when I saw the alien when I was younger, and he just popped out and nodded to me and just said, "I'm here." I thought to myself one day after I heard that about Bashar, I'm like, could that be future me?
It could be.
Asked me.
But okay, so wait, let's go back to Bashar and what you're talking about for a sec here. So if Bashar is future Daryl Anka,
human DNA from past Daryl Anka, yeah.
Okay. It's not really future and past because it's happening all at the same time. So it almost seems like, from the way you explained it, and it resonates this way with me, is Daryl is tapping into the energy of Bashar, no matter where he is on a timeline, right? Because it's happening all at the same time.
Yeah, because everything, and it's just a tap in. So, but they always say, for the sake of how this world is, we do use the terms future and past because
we have to, because it makes my mind almost blow up once I start. I'm not talking about time and dimensions and timelines, but after a while, my head wants to explode.
Yeah, I like talking about them, but I try to stick into my linear way of thinking. When I do my TikTok explanations, as in a human way of thinking. And so that's probably why they're popular.
That's who's going to be watching and asking the questions usually.
I think that's the problem with some people when they go on there and they want to do this, like freaking this. Even I'm a spiritual person. I've been a spiritual person all my life, and all my friends are spiritual people as much. But oh my God, some terms that I hear some of them use, I'm like, oh my God, drop it, leave it at the door, put it in the book, shut up, just use the regular term,
There's somebody for everybody is what I've gotten from Spirit when I try and understand that. But we all know exactly what you're talking about, Dave. There are some people that I'd like to refer to as very woo-woo or very astral. You have no clue what the heck they are talking about. It is literally like they are talking to aliens and on another planet.
Yeah, and they talk to you like that, and it's just the big words.
It's like, just use English, please. Yes, I hear you.
I call it the super woo woo people who make sure that they insert a buzzword, at least two or three a sentence. Otherwise, they're not happy and they can't show off what they do. I mean, we can just literally say stuff. But so anyway, how the world goes as we came up to who we are now, our DNA's been tweaked by aliens, blah blah blah, and so then there's stories behind how certain people got to where they were. And in the future, human beings lost the planet or it got bad. They moved on. That was Bashar, which was Daryl Anka at some point, you know. But I thought about that with that uh, that alien that I saw, and then it kind of made sense. Something did because I'm a really nice person. But I still, to this day on, I have a difficult time with, not a difficult time, I just don't care to share certain emotions, or I'm never emotionally involved in anything anymore. And that kind of happened after my NDE. I used to get really emotionally involved in stuff all the time. If I got sad, I got really sad. If somebody was
Oh,
sad,
really?
I got sad with them and everything else. But that's changed. It's like my emotions got almost like muted. I mean, I'm a very emotional person, and I have to be for my work. But how I explain things, it gets very muted. I have two separate identities because when I leave my house and go to the store and stuff like that, and I talk to my guides in my car no matter where I go, and that's always going to happen. But when I like go with my mom someplace and we shop around, I'm just Dave, and I see how I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God, Dave, you're kind of a prick because I'm I'm like I say hi to everybody and I'm real nice to everybody, but in my head I'm thinking, oh my God, people don't get near me. I don't want anybody near me.
Yeah,
And
but you're human. That's the human side too. And we're not perfect, and I'm not making
no,
excuses. Don't get
you
me wrong. I try to remember to treat people the way I want to be treated. But okay, so I told Dave while we were trying to fix audio today, I was like, Dave asked me if I got out of the shower, and he goes, "Oh, I love your hair," and I really appreciate that. But my hair was stuck to my head because it's so warm. I ran out to get groceries, and I come out of the dollar store here. It's called Dollarama. I'm walking out, and I look. I think Spirit said, "Take a look to the right." I take a look to the right, and there's this poor young man, probably in his late 20s, completely collapsed, and his head is on his bag. He had a cigarette rolled out. I didn't know what happened to this guy. I start to walk to my car because I got to get home, and I go, I can't do this. So I go back in, ask the security guard, can you please call 911? I can't do that. And I thought, why can you not do that? You can do that. So I ended up calling. This is kind of actually an interesting story because it goes full circle, doesn't it, Dave?
like that, yeah.
Okay, so what happened was I called and they wanted me to hang out. There was people all over trying to wake this gentleman up and they couldn't. I have being a nurse, but I don't have to be a nurse for this because the drug problem is so bad here, especially in Ontario, that most of the pharmacies give people Narcan or what is it? Naloxone, that's what it's called. Sorry, I had to think about it for a sec. That will reverse a drug overdose. So I had some in the car and I thought, do I go give this to this guy? And I thought, I don't even know if he's on something or what. So I called the ambulance. They're wanting me to hang out. I'm going, I got to go to work. This is my work to me being here. And I love being with you guys. And I've made a promise to be here. So I stayed on the phone. Ambulance is coming. There are other people. And I said, just flag them over here, please. I said, I'm so sorry. I have to leave. So I went to Walmart, which was right next, ran in quickly to get some groceries. I come out, and here in our Walmarts here in Thunder Bay, I don't know about anywhere else, but they're now charging for the cart. You have to put a loonie in, and bring it back to get your money back. I'm putting my groceries in the car, and I hear this voice say, can I take your cart back for you? And I turn around and it's a First Nations gentleman. And I said, well, you can if you have $1. And he goes, oh, rats. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but I said, I keep that loonie in my purse because Canadians use loonies instead of dollar bills. It's because you have to have one or you're screwed, right? If you need a cart. And so he asked me if I had a cigarette, which I did. So I gave him one. And then I looked at him again and I said, I don't mean to be rude, but were you not just laying outside of the dollar store about 20 minutes ago? And he gave me this story that he likes to sleep out in public. He's homeless. He can't sleep in the bush because it's not safe. I didn't believe that story, but it's not my job to judge. And then what really broke my heart is he apologized to me. He said, I'm so sorry. And I said, you don't have to apologize to me. I just am glad you're okay. But the
Yeah.
whole thing is, like, talk about going full circle. And you know what? If I had judged him by what he looked like, I don't think I would have talked to him, but he was a really sweet young man. And
As long as he doesn't end up the thing at the foot of your bed.
no, I don't think he would. But the thing is, talk about, we're talking about people at the beginning being scarier than real people, then ghosts. Sometimes, hi, Jonathan. This is Jonathan. David's going to be on that show with AJ Capasso and Robin Paffern and Jonathan, I believe. Talking with the source. I always lose that name. So he's going to be on there. So this is Jonathan, one of the hosts. Okay, so there you go, Dave. We were talking about that right before, Jonathan, because I promoted it. So Dave's got it marked down. Hello, Shannon Casey. Are you at work? If you are, we're saying hi to the paranormal poopers. We didn't name them that. They named them that themselves, but they gather around the iPad to listen to the show when Shannon is working.
Okay, when 50 years from now, when there's people, you know how we would gather around a fire to tell ghost stories? 50 years from now, people are going to go, hey, I've got an iPad. They're like, oh my God, we haven't seen an iPad in 40 years.
No, we're all going to be connected to the Internet of Things. We're all going to be connected to the Internet of Things. Yeah, that'll be an archaic item.
Yeah. Gather around the iPad while we spin you a tale from YouTube.
Well, you know what I said as well? Probably some of these people back in the day when they were young, and Shannon says she's off. Well, we're still glad you're here and everybody else that's here. I keep forgetting to remind you guys, top of the hour, you were listening to 105.3 and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, to the thing at the foot of the bed on UPRN, which is UFO Paranormal Radio Network, otherwise known as United Public Radio Network. I am one of your hosts, Lorilei Potvin, and my amazing co-host is David Hanzel. Sorry, I'm supposed to do that at the top of the hour. And Jonathan says he can't wait till you're on Sunday. So everybody tune in. I've been seeing they've been clipping when I was on there. I filled in at the last minute. Their guest wasn't available, and Robin messaged me, and I said, if you'd messaged me a half hour before, I wouldn't have been able to be on it. So we had interesting discussions about what happens when you die. So Shannon says, Sean and I have been renovating. Ooh, any spooky story, Shannon, with the renovating? I have a story for you. Now, Z Sun Dragon is not here tonight, but he was there on Monday night. I did a hangout with everybody. I didn't have a guest. He had two of the spookiest stories, and I'm going to share them because I also heard a similar one in a completely different part of the world. Oh, Shannon says we aren't divorced yet. Jonathan said that was a great show. Thanks for the support. No, thank you for asking me. I love hanging out with you guys. Okay, so Z-Sun Dragon, who's a regular follower of this show and the Angel Rock, he came on and he said he was at work at the break table and he was watching this bee. And I guess there was like a retaining wall or something behind him. He says this bee was flying directly towards the wall. It didn't go right, didn't go left, didn't go up, didn't go down. Just as it was about to hit the wall, boom, it was gone. Didn't get squished. It just disappeared. Then he added another one. Hang on. He said him and his friend, they live in Eastern Canada in a province called New Brunswick, which I have never visited. He said they were close to some woods and stuff. I don't know if they were at a light or they were parked or what, but he said out of nowhere, this massive, huge looking spider thing came towards their car, clambered over the top of their car, not the hood, the top. They said they could hear scratching, and it scampered off into the woods. So I asked him, did you take pictures? He goes, it happened so fast and we were so shocked. He goes, we checked the car. There were no scratches because they could hear scratching. And I've got one more to add. Talking to a friend today, and they live in South America. They had this little strange black looking bug with red markings, and that one disappeared twice. They have not since been able to find it. It was there and they went to get it, and it just like poof was gone. Did not fly off, did not drop down, nothing. So what do you think, Dave, and everybody else? What do you think of these stories?
I like the stories. I don't know what to think of them because I'd have to actually see them. But I'm going to match your story.
Yay! It's ghost stories around the computer tonight. Share your stories, folks.
No, you got to get down, sweetie darling. Sweetie darling, go down. All right, so I forgot to tell you. I can't remember. You're telling your story. I remembered.
I'm sorry.
Watching a YouTube video because sometimes I just sit around and I'm gonna watch YouTube. I'll be like, so what's scary today? And anyway, there's this one channel I never really heard of it. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna send it to you. But of course, it's one of those channels that ghost stories are talking about the ghosts. But this, I don't know. The guy must have been really young and didn't know much about it.
Excuse me.
They talk about a bird. They're just discussing it, saying, okay, here's a story about this guy who was taking this picture of this. It was like a tsunami that had just come in and everything was washed away. And he said while the waves were still coming out after the tsunami was about over, there was a bird and they saw it the night before the tsunami too. And then they saw it that day flying over the water and it kept disappearing. And they have it on film and it's an older footage. So it's like, okay, older footage, which is always good for me. I like, older footage. But they show it and it's flying and then it would disappear. And I was like, okay, this is unusual. But I was thinking to myself, that's not a Matrix thing. That's not no freaking glitch, no damn mate. Because every time they see something stop, it's a glitch.
I know. I'm going to grab a deck. I'm still here. I can hear you. I'm going to grab a deck.
So I was thinking, you know what? I wonder if it's Mothman or a cryptid because of the fact it was there before the flood happened, and then it flew over the flood and then it just disappeared. And if anybody knows anything about Mothman, that's something Mothman would do. It's like when that bridge collapsed in December of, I can't remember when that was, a long time ago. Mothman was standing on the bridge and that was the sighting. The very next day it fell down and people were, and then it's right after I'm saying that to myself and I start looking it up, then they go on their little thing. Or it could be a Mothman. I'm like, there you go. Thank God they pulled it out there. So, and it's really funny if you ever go to that town where Mothman is, and I went there where they filmed the movie and all that, the people who live there, a lot of them, I'm sorry, but we walked in and they're selling all this Mothman stuff. And as we walk, we were buying these little trinkets. They're like, this stuff is silly, and they're having the big Mothman celebration next week and blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't help but say to him, I get you don't believe in that, but if it wasn't for all this Mothman hype, your little antique shop would have closed down by now because it looks like every business down the road is closed. So it's you should be more appreciative.
I agree, but speaking of that and tsunamis, I remember the Boxing Day tsunami that happened in Thailand and all around there and how tragic it was. Okay. Is that the thing that you seen climb on the building out of the ocean?
Oh, no, that wasn't the one.
Okay, this was when the tsunami kind of spread to Japan, and it's been caught on video, this thing. I don't know what this is. It is translucent. It comes out of the water. It almost looked like a wave, and then, I'm getting goosebumps. It starts climbing up the building, and it kind of slithers almost, and it gets, oh God, I got major goosebumps. I don't know if you guys can see, major, and it disappears. I have never seen anything like this before. Like, it was crazy. I should see if I can find it. Oh, you know what else I sent you? I don't know if you got a chance to watch it. We've talked about this before. You guys know I am a true crime fan. I've told you before about the paranormal activity at the very tragic case of the Chris Watts case. With Shanann, his wife, that was 7 months pregnant, he murdered. There's with their son Nico, and their two little daughters, Cece and I think it's Bella. There, I had no idea the amount of EVPs. Like, I knew some of this, but oh my gosh, you guys, there's sightings of the little girls in there, completely see through.
I watched that and I followed the story before people started going to investigate it. I personally think they went too soon and they should have left it alone. But that's just my opinion. It doesn't matter here or there. But I did watch a couple of those. There are EVPs there you can't, and they're good EVPs. The only thing I didn't like about it is there's one that made me angry, just the people that were in it. And I don't know if this was the same show, but the EVPs, most of them, I mean, you don't need to put a word underneath to tell people what
Yeah,
it's
they did. Yeah,
you
they did.
can hear it. But there was a couple EVPs. There's one, it was literally a squeak, and they put underneath it help in red. I'm like,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but the one that was okay, that really got me, because I didn't know there was this many. There was one where people called, they kept seeing a woman in the house, and Chris was arrested, and obviously the poor family is gone. And neighbors were calling, they kept seeing a woman in there. Okay, there was that, but the one that really got me was when the two police officers were in there, because this was a lot of body cam footage from the police officers where all this stuff was coming from. And she goes in, I thought it was the children's closet, but it wasn't. It was Shanann's office. And she's in there with the dog, and you hear a little girl giggle. And they stop, and the officer goes, "What was that?" And she's trying to recreate it. And the officer outside, they were both females, and she goes, "I heard that too."
I heard it. I could tell it was a giggle.
Oh yeah, it was a giggle. I'm trying to find it because I sent it to you, and I'll tell you guys what the channel is. So Jonathan says, when I first started, I drove to the field, or when I first started, I drove to the field where probably where the bodies were found. I felt so bad for the family. So did I. And I've even been noticing now, and I am not saying or pointing a finger in any way, but there's been a few videos made about the woman he was having an affair with. And there's some interesting details coming out about that. I'll leave it at that. So this is it. I'll go to it's called Is the Watts Family Home Haunted? Reported woman going into the Watts residence but never leaving. And it's by REELKILLERS, all one word. I'll try and show it to you guys.
She said somebody went into the house and never left.
Yeah, that it's on the if you watch it, it's on the police video footage. Like, they go in, there's a swarm of them going. It's at nighttime.
Now,
And
okay, so they think it was a ghost of someone who walked in the house.
well, because the neighbors called. The neighbors saw a woman go into the house, and then there was another call. I know there was, where neighbors called again. I think there was a light on or something. They could see a woman inside of the building. So they kept calling the police. Now, there's a guy by the name of Franco TV. He always investigates on his own. He's always on Nuke's Top 5 a lot. I'm going to mention that, Jonathan, and I'm glad you did. I'll bring it up in just a sec. Franco TV went there, and he didn't go in the house, obviously, because the house was locked up. But he had an experience outside as well. It was featured. I don't know if Nuke's Top 5, he sent it in, or if Nuke's found it. But yeah, and I heard, if I'm not mistaken, I think the home is sold. And I thought, my God, I wonder what the new family's going through if they are in that home.
He didn't kill him in the house, though, did he? No.
Yeah, he did.
Was it in the house? No, I thought he got the girls in the car.
No.
Who's the dude who did that? Oh, that was another one. I don't even know how many of these strange people are out here.
No, he did in the house, and then he removed their bodies, and he was caught on the cameras and the whole bit. Okay, Jonathan Keyworth said, yeah, he did. He took their lives in the home. But I do want to talk about this because I think this is important, and I'm glad Jonathan brought it up. If you are not aware of the Ellen Greenberg case, please look it up. Her Grizzly True Crime, who I follow, and Surviving the Survivor. He's an excellent podcasts, both of them on YouTube. They stick to the facts and they are victim centered. And Ellen Greenberg's parents have been on Grizzly True Crime for, I know for sure. And what's happened is Ellen was murdered, I believe, over 10 years ago. And it's been unsolved in the way that they labeled it as suicide. Now, when you see the facts of this case, this woman was stabbed in the back of the head and the back 20 times, including 2 wounds that were sustained after she died. You tell me how that's a wife. I shouldn't say that much on YouTube. Suicide.
How
And
could
the
that
family
be?
is being gaslit. Every corner they turn, they are spending every penny. This was their only daughter. The fiance is now remarried, who found her, that said he was down at the gym, but his family is very highly connected within politics and stuff like that. When you look at this case, I believe also Gavin Fish has really covered this. Please look into it. They have a Facebook group and they really need your support. They are willing even to accept, they want the case overturned in the ruling of manner of death over. They'll even accept as basically cause unknown. But there is no way that this young woman took her life.
Do that. You would pass out.
Jonathan, you just read my mind. He put Gavin Fish, and I did not read your comment. I just said it. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
No, I was gonna say that's. I tell you, sometimes I think. Well, I suppose somebody
Hi, Jamie.
leaves here every 30 seconds in the world.
Jonathan is working towards this case as well. He's a paranormal investigator. Like I said, he's a host on Talking with the Source, what Dave will be on. Robin's usually here from Haffern Paranormal. He's over in the UK. He's a host, and AJ Capasso, who I've also had on the Angel Rock. And I want to have all 3 of you boys on the Angel Rock. I was just thinking about you today. I swear to God I was. We got Janie Walker here. And then Jonathan said there's a petition on Gavin Fish's website. Now, you know what, Jonathan, you're gonna. This happened did it happen in Philadelphia? I think Jonathan will know the city. Please look into this, because this family, they've spent every penny that they have. They've got a retired police officer helping, and
line or anything. Yeah. They have a hotline or something where you can call in.
No, they have a Facebook page. Justice for Ellen Greenberg. But go to Gavin Fish's page. Like he said, he is a local reporter that has been following this case. Him and his wife actually supposedly reenacted what supposedly happened to poor Ellen, and there is no way it was even physically possible. Well, how do you get 2 stab wounds in the back of the head after you're dead?
How old was she?
28. She was a teacher. She was engaged to be married. And supposedly your fiance, there was a snowstorm, and apparently she was making a fruit salad. They were supposed to go to some dinner or something. And the fiance went down to the gym wearing his work.
Did they have a little girl?
Pardon?
Did they have a little girl?
No, they had no children. No.
Where does the little girl come in? Because when I was just sitting here and I was like, oh, I wonder what the energy's like. That's why I asked if there's anything there. And I pick up a little girl who was young.
He has a little girl now, but I don't know if he has one. I shouldn't say a little girl. He has children, and he has since remarried. Her fiance's name is Sam.
I'll write down what I get, because maybe it'll point to the person. Because I see
you're going to know who the person is. We just can't say who the person is. But when you look at the facts of the case, it's pretty apparent without me saying.
It's probably the same person I'm getting, but all right.
It's pretty apparent who committed this and who did this. But the thing is, this woman did not take. How do you stab yourself in the back of the head? I'm going to say that again, twice after you're dead.
Oh my God. I have a hard time with a loofah sponge getting my back, let alone stabbing myself 20 times.
Yeah, but when you're dead, then you take the knife and you stab yourself so hard that you go right.
What kind of idiot police? What kind of idiot person? Oh my God. Well, I'll just get mad because I'm just thinking to myself, whoever that coroner was is an idiot.
Oh, there's so much with this case, but the point is, please, if you're listening, if you have a heart in any way and you want to help out somebody that really needs some help, this family needs so much help. Oh, actually, Jonathan said, oh, so he did an EVP session. I'm not saying this. I did not allege. This is allegedly. So Jonathan, who is JK47 Paranormal, I believe he does a podcast as well. He said, watch my last episode of Targeting with the JK47, who is Jonathan. So I'm guessing he did a ghost box session, and it would have been, I'm guessing you say it was it Ellen? He says, she said it was SAM 4 times. I'm saying allegedly that came through the ghost box. I don't want any problems. But
Her husband? Her husband?
She wasn't married. It was her fiance.
There we go. It's Sam, right? I got the same exact thing. That's what I kept seeing. That's his little girls I'm seeing. I agree.
There is no little girl. So unless she's appearing that way, or...
No, isn't Sam remarried?
They were never married. He's now married, and he used to work for ESPN.
Is Sam married?
Yes, Sam is married now.
And he has kids.
That's what I said to you about 3 minutes ago. Yes, he has kids.
That's what I'm saying to you. That's the little girl who comes in. When he said the name Sam, I'm like, I totally get it. I bet any money.
You have to be very careful with throwing that name around. You need to say alleged, David, because believe me,
alleged person. I'm just saying I can't see him, so I have no clue. But I can tell you that I saw things around something. So I don't know.
But you have to be very careful because there are some very powerful people connected with this. So allegedly, okay.
I think he allegedly did something bad.
I can guarantee you, if you go to the facts of the case, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Yeah, Jonathan, there's a difference though, okay? Like you say, I say it freely and Spirit has your back. Spirit has our back too. We are on a network, and that is why.
That I can't say it on, because I have no problem saying it on.
Live, you would not hear me saying this, but we are on a network and we have to be careful with what we say. So yes, you can say it freely. If Dave and I were doing a live on TikTok right now, yeah, we could be much more freer than what we are. So that's why I'm saying it, because we are on a network. So we have to be careful with what we say. That's all.
Do you remember the Brady Bunch?
Yes.
Who was that guy that used to come to the house that liked and what did he do? He was that guy he was dating Alice. What did he do?
He was dating who?
Alice, the housekeeper. No, don't say it.
Oh, I don't remember.
I'm going to see if the audience says it. Okay. What was the name of the guy and what was his profession? The one who dated Alice on the Brady Bunch.
I have no idea. I didn't watch it that closely.
Oh, somebody will understand it in a minute. That's what I get with that situation. That's what I get with that situation.
Jonathan says he was a painter.
No, read above Thomas and don't put it up there. That's what they gave me around that story. That's why I said that. I didn't want to say it.
When we do a live next, okay, Shannon put in there, I won't highlight it. All I'm going to say to you is when we do a live next, we can speak more freely about this. But I think it's important to draw attention to this.
We won't play with it now.
What's that?
I said we won't play with it now, but
that's the only reason. But when David and I do a live and we're not on the network, we could talk much more freely. But there's some very powerful people connected to this as well. But like I said, if you look into the case, it doesn't take long. Like I said, if you don't want to, Gavin Fish was interviewed on Grizzly True Crime. If you look up Ellen Greenberg, there's a whole file in her playlist. She is amazing. She's from South Africa, but she lives in the Netherlands. She actually is so victim-centered and fact-based and has so much empathy for this. And not just Ellen, there's many stories that she covers. So check her out. She's great. And I really do like Surviving the Survivor. The other one, his name is Chris. Oh God, the case or the channel name just left me. He's on Sunday nights. He's a retired police officer, detective, but he also works on the Cold Case Foundation. So I really like these 3 channels for true crime. I got to find the name because I was thinking about this. Spirit showed me that we were going to talk about this. I just didn't know how we were going to talk about it, but they did. And I was thinking, okay, remember the name. Give me the one thing here. I'm going to put, I think it's, oh, this is going to drive me nuts. His name is Chris, and his wife's name, I could see his wife. My brain just went completely blank. I'll put true crime. Let's see if that comes up. True crime.
My little girl.
What's that?
My little girl. Little Willow. Too much, sweetie. You come up here. You don't want to?
I'll put ex-detective. I'm trying to find this. It's going to drive me crazy now. They want to keep putting up Chris Watts, and that's not who he is. Sunday nights he does this. Oh, it's going to come to me right after I go off the show where we keep talking about this. I guess I got to put true crime channels. I'll put that ex-detective. I'll put true crime channels. Let's see what happens because it's going to come up because he's got a really good channel too. Duty Ron is another one, retired police officer. He's not too bad either, especially when he's got Ed Wallace on there, who is a forensic investigator. Really interesting stuff that comes up. Everybody's name except the one I want is not coming up here. Oh, I'll come up with it. But like I said, take a look if you can, because isn't that interesting when we're talking about spirits? Why so many EVPs came through with the Chris Watts case. Why do you think that, Dave, or anybody in the chat? What's your thoughts? Like, why do you think that happened? Because he confessed pretty quickly.
I don't know why it would happen. I'm still trying to wrap my head of why they would still be there.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, why would they still be there?
I heard the EVPs. So unless it's something else, and they are mistaking all this because the EVPs are saying Chris in it too as well, aren't they?
What's that?
I thought I heard one of the EVPs say Chris.
Yeah, she did say Chris. Yeah.
Because now when I looked at for me, but I was looking on my TV, and I was sitting on my couch and looking at the TV. When I saw when the camera stopped to show what they were showing, I didn't see the faces they saw. I kept thinking the first time when I looked at it and I didn't catch it, I said, well, that's like pareidolia, or what is that, pareidolia?
Pareidolia?
Yeah, pareidolia. And then I looked at it again, and it's like, well, I definitely do see some kind of something darkening something here, but in no way did it resemble a child to me. But the EVPs are what got me. The EVPs were good, except for that one that they mislabeled. But other than that, they were really quite clear. So I would say that's some of the best EVPs.
Well, I know what this show's finally called. I remember the interview room with Chris, and his wife is on there. They have Ann Burgess. She's amazing. She's a nurse, and that TV show, my brain is completely turned off. It was on Netflix. There was 3 series of it. Anyways, it was Dr. Wendy Carr, the character, and she was based on it. And this series is all about how profiling started with the FBI and stuff. And Dr. Ann Burgess is actually who the female character is based on. And Gary Bricado, another one. Interesting. But anyways, I got off track here. Sorry, I didn't mean to. But I know Jonathan says they didn't go into the light. Well, that's obvious, possibly with the EVPs. Now, I know what you're talking about, that could be pareidolia with that little girl figure. I have seen a much better video clip of that.
There's other ones. I'm just saying that particular one. I couldn't see anything, so I was just concentrating on the EVPs because I'm sure it's in there. I was wondering why they wouldn't go, why the entire family would
because I don't think it was residual. Do you? Like the fact that people were calling the neighbors saying they saw a woman go into the home and didn't leave. That's happened a couple times.
I was going to say I think my personal thing, if anybody was going to stay there, it would be the mom. The reason is, and I don't know everything about every ghost in the world, but I have to kind of agree on your side that with the children wise, just the giggling and just that could be residual. There was a house full of kids, and who knows how happy their family was or how sad
There
their
was
family
two
was,
kids, two
how
little
much fighting went on in there, how much whatever. So we don't know about that. I've never talked to any of those children, and they tell me. I don't know. I would think it would be the mom, if anybody, who is hanging around. I think that would be the one who's hanging to make sure everything's getting taken care of, and maybe hold it. She, maybe help. Most children, from my experience, and this is mine, and I could be wrong. I run across probably in I'm over a half century years old, and I can count how many actual ghost children I have run across without running out of
I
fingers.
am always suspect of a child spirit. I am
Yeah,
sorry, but I am.
that's right. That's why I said after all these people I talked to, and like I said, I could be wrong, but I can't tell you more than 5 of where they were actually still there. And the only one that I really was the one that said, "I can't find me stone." That guy, um, that kid, and he wasn't even there for because he was stuck. He was literally visiting a graveyard he was in. I think a lot of people tend to think that children are going to end up being ghosts just from a traumatic thing, but our minds when we're children, I want you to really think about it. When we're children, we mimic more of an animal sense when we're children. And bear with me. um, Cats, dogs, our pet, they're in the moment all the time. They're very accepting of everything.
They
So
live in the now.
yeah, they're here in the now. We are as children as well. if
Yes.
if we haven't been taught that people are scary or things are scary or what scary things, we're gonna not, we're just gonna accept the happening, and then we wouldn't get stuck or stay. But how do I know that these children maybe have it in their soul contract to say, I'm going to still visit the house, or I'm going to make something known, or something happens, so they keep a case going? Who knows? I don't know, but I'm with you at Lorilei on that. I'm very, very skeptical of child ghosts because
I always, always, always am. And you know where I've seen this a lot again is going back to the Foreman brothers. They work a lot of residential cases. There he is, Z Sun Dragon. I was talking about you earlier about your ginormous spider and the bug, the bee, because I had a
grabbing
friend
some water.
down in South America who had a similar experience with a bug like you did with the bee yesterday. Anyways, back to this with child spirits. Um, Something usually a little darker and a little negative, and usually pretty negative, you will take the form of a child. I have found, because and these guys, I've seen it on their channel many times. Now they take it at face value, but let's face it, my belief is the truth will always come to light. But you can usually tell, and they usually can. They don't claim to be psychic or intuitive or mediums or anything, but just by what they're receiving, the energy they're feeling, what they're picking up, and it's usually not a kid. And don't get me wrong, there can be some child spirits, but the main ones I find it's usually something negative, pretending to be a spirit, because regardless of who you are as a human being, if you have a heart, especially I'm going to say this, I'm not trying to be sexist, but women, right? Where's our heart going to go to a small lost child, we think, right, that can't go into the light?
Yeah, I have a hard time buying that one myself. Like I said, even the children. Now I've talked to, being a medium, I've talked to many children who are on the other side, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't. And sometimes they'll come to me as a child just for a second, so I know they're a child, and then they come to me as their true self.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Children, a lot of times, there's literally no reason for a child to be stuck, because you wouldn't be lost. Because I know this from even my NDE is nobody even dies alone. You can't. It's impossible. So a child is not going to be upset, and a child probably won't have that. Most ghosts that I've
Unless they die quickly. I could see that very, very quickly, and they don't realize, they don't know what's going on. I have seen some child spirits, not very often, but I have.
That's why I said I've counted. I don't run out of hands. How many I've actually saw? The one in my house was a spirit too. That I saw. The one that I seen when I was 20 years old. That was so flesh and blood standing right there, and she had died in that house before. But I never got the sense that she was stuck in the house. It's more or less she was visiting the house,
Mhm.
and I was there and I could hear her. So that's why she was saying my name. But other than that, she wasn't like a I've never come across, okay, I can say that. I've never come across any child ghost that said, I'm stuck. Where do I go?
I have heard children that have said, I can't find my mommy or I can't find my daddy. And it's usually if you can get the information, it's that they died really quickly or really tragically, like didn't even realize they'd passed. And we do run into stuff like that because especially depending on the age of a child, like a really young child, I think your angels are gonna help you. Like,
I think a rescue medium probably has seen a lot more than that. But
yes,
then again,
yes.
I've known a couple of rescue mediums who I'm like, okay. But
But I do think there are some children that can truly be lost, or sometimes you do get a negative energy
that
that the
impersonates a
energy has
child.
to go somewhere that can hold people there and it feeds off of their energy. One actually, Debbie, I don't know if we'll get a chance to talk about it, but Debbie, who's coming on, Debbie A. Anderson, she's shared a story before. She went to an investigation actually out. I think it was in New Brunswick where Kevin Z. Son's Dragon was. It was somewhere around there in Newfoundland. And she was asked to go into an investigation in a very old pub, and she's talked about this spirit that she ran into, and she said, do you remember the movie The Abyss? And she said kind of like that water monster. She said it was kind of like that, like flowing, and it was holding people hostage there to feed off the emotion. So she didn't feel comfortable. That's not her forte or area to deal with stuff like that or clear it. So I think she made sure that there was a connection made for somebody that deals with those kind of things to get this thing out of there.
Sometimes I let other people deal with stuff that I don't
You
deal
have
with.
to.
Or
I
yeah,
always say if you're not an electrician and your wiring goes haywire, could you maybe like MacGyver it watching YouTube? Yeah. If you want it fixed.
it's like if I've had one investigation I did around here is I had a girl call up. She's a friend of my trainer at the gym years ago. Back when I went to the gym, there's a ghost. There we go. But anyway, when I went to go to that house,
Most of the gyms of past.
yeah, I went to that house very quickly, and the reason I did is because she said her daughter kept seeing something. She didn't really say that her daughter was hurt or anything, but when there's a child involved, I mean, it's like just go do it. And I didn't charge. I don't charge for that. But we went in there, we found out who the ghosts were, and they happened to have lived at the house, so that turned out. But as far as children go, I I can't. I've yet to come, and I can't. And you know what? I have to say, I'm very happy I haven't come across it, and I hope I never do. And I'll leave that at that. I'm going to grab a quick drink of water before
Okay,
my.
I don't know if you want to grab a deck, but Jonathan asked us to pull a card, and we don't always do readings, but sometimes we'll do the unpredictable, predictable readings. So go ahead, Dave.
Absolutely.
I'll pull a card, and if you want to pull one, this is just a general card for people. That's what I did on Talking with the Source, so I will do that here tonight. Jonathan, I don't know if you're still there or not, but he asked me to do it. So this is an interesting card. I don't think I've ever got this before. So this card I pulled, a Life Purpose Oracle card. So message I'm putting out here for anybody that this resonates with, feel free to take it as if it was meant for you. And I always say, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. And what it is the card I pulled, it says books. You connect to your life purpose through your involvement with books. What I'm getting from this is that those of us or anybody out there, I'm not saying myself, I'm just saying it in general as an us, that may be questioning where they are or what they're doing or what their life purpose is or why they are here. First of all, Spirit wants you to know none of you are here by accident. The other thing that I am taking this as with books, that there are all sources of information for some of you. And I think this sort of is more geared towards, and I'm going with what I'm getting from Spirit, not from the card. It's always helpful to take a look at what kind of learner you are. Some people are visual. Some people need to hear it. Some people need to see it written. Look at what you navigate towards in the way of learning or how you retain information. And the reason Spirit's giving me this is it will better help you to discern how your guides, your angels, your higher vibrational beings that are around us will be trying to communicate with you. Number one, though, remember, we always need to give our guides and our angels and those around us permission that you want to work more closely with them or you want to get to know them better, because I believe they respect our free will. The other thing is, once you discern about how you best learn, start paying attention. For example, if you are one of the people that maybe learns best by hearing, or maybe even want to improve that skill, and Dave and I have talked about this, turn on some of your favorite music, but set the goal for maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 songs that you're really going to tune into the sound of the bass, for example, so you can really hear the bass. Maybe another day you're going to start looking at the lyrics. What are the words that are really in this song? What do they mean? And so on and so forth. So I believe that a book is an analogy about how you get your information and your signs and symbols around you. If you are very visual, take a look. Do you see license plates that just seem to fit the bill right away with numbers, maybe the clock, whatever it is? And if you're not sure what that means, look it up. Even to the point that, say you got something going on, maybe you got a toothache or you got a rotten tooth, look it up to see what the spiritual significance of that is, because there is so much information around us. It's just how we discern it. And I hope that helps.
All right. Let's see. I'll put one right for Jonathan since you did a whole group one. So we'll just go Jonathan.
Okay.
I'll just go Jonathan here. Jonathan, I these are like text messages because I know I laugh about this because when Lorilei and I, when we do our live, when I had my TikTok live before and we do it live for the show, I wouldn't have my cards up there. And I always tell everybody that say, can you pull a card? I'm like, no, we're just going to go direct, which means I just hear them. But sometimes I like to use the text message as well. But they may go direct on your butt anyway. So we shall see real quickly. So, Jonathan, I was just sitting here at your energy. Jonathan, you got pretty decent energy, man. You, I'm not just saying that.
He said, "Oh man, I'm scared." You don't have to be scared.
You don't have to be scared. You got pretty decent energy. You've gotten rid of a lot of. I don't want to swear. You got rid of a lot of stuff in your life so far. You've gotten rid of a lot. You worked hard on it. There's still some lingering things. I'm sorry, they're direct right now. There's some lingering things right now, but it's pretty much kind of like it's as easy as you just having the intention to let these things go away, take a shower, pretend that the water is just cleansing energy, and just get rid of it. Rather than that, they're telling me that you've worked pretty good at getting rid of your stuff. It's probably most likely why you're being successful in the things you do working with the paranormal. Because they always tell me, and they're telling me now to tell you, that the people who have the worst time in the paranormal field are the people who have their own baggage, because they bring it into another spirit, and that spirit, their baggage and your baggage, that energy mixes together in those small spaces, and it gives people a hard time sometimes. So that was a direct message. But let me pull the card, and it's the one that fell out. Gotcha. So with the new endeavors coming up and all that you're doing, some of them seem like they're just kind of slightly out of reach for you. There's a reason why, and I'm going to tell you why. And this is the card. And the card is fogged in. That doesn't mean anything. All that means is that you're in this area, in this opportunity. All the opportunities around you is the fog. What happens is sometimes you might tend, or we or anybody might tend to question those things that are out there. And we get that little bit of fear in it. Well, if I do this, it might let this suffer. And I don't know if I should do this. No, just do it. That's why you're fogged in. They're telling you just go slow. Grab what you're most passionate about. And that's the one you're going to jump on. Then once you jump on that, take it as far as you possibly can take it, and then the next one will pop in, because by no means are you done. You've got a lot of really cool experiences to experience yet. So they're kind of giving you the go ahead to say, hey, you can do this, take it on, and you're going to have a very interesting life if you do.
I just said Spirit's got his back earlier, and Spirit indeed has all our backs. Sorry, Dave, go ahead. I didn't
No, that's it. I hope that resonates with you somehow.
And we are out of time, you guys. I don't know what it is lately. Time is going by so fast. Dave, do you realize like we've been live for 2 hours? Did it feel like that? It didn't feel like that to me.
Oh man, thank you. So true. Oh, good. I'm glad you got it, Jonathan. You're all good though. So, go kick butt and take names.
I just said to you, we are almost out of time though. Can you believe 2 hours almost went by? Like, I don't know what it is lately. These shows seem to be flying by, don't they?
They do. They fly by.
So I tell them how to find you and about TikTok and everything, because we want to get them up to 1,000 people, because then you go live again.
You guys, if please visit my website, theywhispertome.com. You can use the code Mystic Stew, and it'll take 10% off any of the live readings. Mystic Stew is also my other podcast. It is a short form pre-recorded podcast. It is not live. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, just about any place you type it in. Follow me on YouTube. It's The Spirit Experience on YouTube. I'm on YouTube, and it's The Spirit Experience on TikTok. So you can look up
Tell your friends. We want to get them back up after.
For anybody listening, I had 94,000 followers, and my TikTok account got stolen and taken away. So I had to start on over. And then you can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook at Medium David Hanzel. Go ahead, Lorilei, take it away.
Just so you know, David and I never message or solicit people for readings. So somebody is saying they're one of us. It's not. Thank you, Jonathan. You said time is a cage. Awesome show, guys. Thank you. We appreciate that. If you enjoyed what you saw, stay tuned. We got the second night of the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoger. She's been on Canada's Most Haunted, Paranormal Survivor, and her co-host, Amelia Pisano. They have Wednesday and Thursday nights with their show, so stay tuned. They're coming up right after us. If you ever want to get a hold of me, you want to book a reading, I do crystal Reiki, I do energy healing, I do mentoring, or you got a show idea or a guest suggestion, feel free to reach out to me at facebook.com/The Angel Rock. I have 2 groups on Facebook, Paranormal University for all things paranormal, and the Angel Rocker Tribe for some of the spiritual things as well that we talked about tonight. Stay tuned. You will see me on Monday again. I am having on Leanne Clark, who's a very good friend of mine, and Debbie A. Anderson, another very good friend of mine. They are one of them is a channel, and the other one is a very gifted medium, and we're going to be talking about some cool stuff. I believe we may be playing some solfeggio tones that Debbie channeled a few years back, and they're very healing, can help with many aspects of your life. It's going to be pretty cool. Otherwise, stay tuned. That was not an EVP. That was my cat. We will be back next Tuesday, right, Dave? Or Thursday, right? Same time, same space, right?
Where will I be on Sunday? What's the name of that show?
Oh, Talking with the Source on Sunday. You'll see it on Facebook, on YouTube. I don't know what time, Jonathan, you might want to throw it in there. It's usually in the afternoon, and it's with Halfern Paranormal, or Robin, who's usually here from the UK, AJ Capasso, and he's awesome. He's in the paranormal, and Jonathan Keyworth, otherwise he's known as JK47, I believe, paranormal, and Dave. They'll all be there on Sunday afternoon, so you guys want to watch that.
Okay. Right.
Thanks, Jane. He said 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you guys look for it. It's going to be a great show. I know it is.
Yep. All right, you guys. Let's try to say it. We're going to try to say it. We'll go on the way out. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. What's at the foot of your bed?
Almost. One of these days, you guys, we're going to say it perfectly. And when we do, we've told you this before, David and I we said this, right, Dave, that we would give away a full free reading when we can do it. We'll have to stick people's names in who were on the live, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right, guys.
See you next week, guys. Love you. Stay safe. Much love and light. We'll see you. Okay. Thanks for being here.
Bye-bye.